The journey of a boy from Idaho. In a small, run-down corner of Boise, Idaho, where makeshift houses crowd each other, trash clogs the streets, and dreams lie buried beneath prejudice, a black boy named Malik Johnson grew up amid poverty and discrimination. His mother, Johnson, was a strong woman. She had been a top math student in high school but had to drop out after an unplanned pregnancy. Despite life's hardships, she never gave up. In Malik, she saw a spark, a chance for something better to continue. Launching from the depths, Malik entered adolescence with two things as his baggage: a sharp mind and a heart hardened by society's indifference. He wasn't the top student because his learning conditions were poor, old computers, tattered textbooks, and indifferent teachers. But whenever lessons involved space, rockets, or physics, Malik's eyes lit up. At 15, he discovered a national science competition for high school students. That year's theme was innovation in spacecraft design for the future. He had no printer, no advanced simulation software. But Malik did everything by hand, from paper models and calculations to a passionate presentation. With help from Ms. Ramirez, a physics teacher who was the first at school to recognize Malik's true potential, he submitted his entry. He didn't expect much. But a month later, Malik received news: he had won first place in the regional round. Then something unbelievable happened. He was invited to visit the Kennedy Space Center. It was Malik's first time leaving Idaho, first time flying, first time seeing a real rocket towering before him. Standing at the base of the Orion spacecraft, Malik didn't cry, but his heart trembled with one certainty: he belonged to the sky. A rough flight path. Thanks to a full STEM scholarship, Malik was admitted to Caltech, a school he had only dared to read about on Wikipedia before. There, he was no longer the best student. Around him were geniuses from all over, mostly white, wealthy, from prestigious schools. The difference immediately isolated him. Suspicious looks. Whispered comments: he only got in because of a minority quota. Malik gritted his teeth and endured. But inside, the fire in him still smoldered. He found support in a small student group called SAGE, Students for Aerospace Growth and Equality, where minority students helped each other. There, Malik met Aaron Liu, a programming prodigy of Chinese descent, and Sophia Martinez, an engine modeling expert. They became companions, partners, and later co-founders of NovaFly. Malik grew up under strict but loving care. "Books are the only things no one can take away from you," his mother often said. The public library was his paradise, where he first learned about Galileo, then Newton, then Carl Sagan, and finally Mae Jemison, the first black female astronaut. Mae Jemison's name planted a seed of hope. If she could fly into space, why couldn't he? From then on, every night Malik lay on his leaky rooftop, staring at the sky, imagining himself drifting among the stars. But dreams couldn't shield him from harsh reality. One afternoon when Malik was 12, he and his younger brother were stopped by two white police officers on suspicion of theft. Innocent, he was shouted at, pressed face down on the sidewalk, under the contemptuous eyes of passers-by. That day, Malik didn't cry. But inside, he made a vow: if this world had no place for him, he would build a new one. The rust-free door. Graduating with honors, Malik was invited to work for one of America's largest private aerospace companies. But after 2 years, he discovered the truth: his breakthrough ideas were suppressed as too bold, unrealistic, or disrupting the stable structure. Frustrated, Malik left. With his savings, he, Aaron, and Sophia rented a small garage lab in suburban Los Angeles. The name NovaFly was born from a napkin while Malik ate instant noodles and gazed at the night sky. They started by redesigning electromagnetic propulsion, long considered science fiction. Working day and night, rejected by funding bodies dozens of times. But on the 101st attempt, a young venture capitalist took a chance. NovaFly took off. The flag among the stars. 10 years later, NovaFly became a pioneer in clean aerospace. They signed contracts with NASA, ESA, and developing countries. Malik became the first African American to own and run a billion-dollar aerospace corporation. The day Freedom 1, designed by NovaFly, sent a crew to a new space station orbiting Mars, Malik stood before millions and said, "I was once forced face down on the sidewalk because I was a poor black kid. Today, I look up as our spacecraft leaves Earth, because I believe dreams have no color." The darkness behind the planet. After NovaFly's first success, the media called Malik the Black Elon Musk, but he just smiled knowingly, aware the truth was less glamorous. Sleepless nights, rejections due to his race and background, all still etched in his mind. But success brought new challenges. NovaFly's rapid growth blurred the line between passion and commerce. The investment board began to intervene. A major investor pressured, "We need to cut costs, prioritize military contracts, not idealistic projects." Malik, who had vowed never to touch weapons or war tech, found himself at an ethical crossroads. He remembered his mother's words. "You can fly as high as you want, but never lose your direction." One night, looking at a photo of his mother by the window, wearing an apron, smiling tired but strong, Malik knew what he had to do. He chose to refuse a multi-billion-dollar military contract. The decision cost NovaFly a large part of its funding. Stocks plummeted. The press changed tone. Malik Johnson, unrealistic genius? In those dark days, he skipped press conferences and social media. He returned to the lab. Quietly. Alone. Seeds from the ashes. When NovaFly neared bankruptcy, Aaron Liu brought a lifeline, a collaboration project with the African Space Alliance, ASA, a group seeking cheap, clean technology to launch satellites for weather and education. The project was small, low profit, but aligned with Malik's original mission, science for humanity. He traveled to Ghana, Nigeria, then Ethiopia, meeting local engineers, sharing open-source tech. For the first time, Malik wasn't just a businessman or scientist, he became a global inspiration. ASA's project succeeded spectacularly, drawing international reinvestment. NovaFly not only revived but was reshaped, a space company for a sustainable and equitable future. A drop of water on Mars. 3 years later, Malik faced his greatest challenge, developing Ether, a mission sending an autonomous, fuel-efficient robotic rover to Mars to search for signs of water. The nearly 6-year project involved over 20 countries. It was more than science, it symbolized global cooperation, and Malik became a living symbol of a world where science transcends political and racial boundaries. When Ether landed in Gale Crater, detecting traces of liquid beneath the soil, the world erupted. Malik stood in the control room, tears falling, not just for science, but for the journey from a leaky Idaho rooftop to the red planet, once thought impossible. The legacy. At 47, Malik didn't rest. He founded the Horizons Fund to support underprivileged students passionate about science worldwide, especially from forgotten communities. In his final speech before stepping down as CEO, he said, "I don't care if people remember my name. I just want kids to know, you can dream, and dream big, even if the world doesn't believe in you." Malik didn't just reach the sky. He opened new skies for the next generation. The keeper of the flame. Now 52, Malik Johnson is no longer just a scientist giving talks. He's a living icon, honorary chairman of NovaFly, founder of the Horizons Fund, and a Nobel Peace Prize nominee. But he feels lost in the world he helped create. Technology races ahead. AI runs entire space stations. Machine learning modules decide exploration missions. Malik starts to realize, humanity is moving away from the center of its own progress. He speaks out. At conferences, he says, "We need a world where technology serves humans, not replaces them." But the press calls him a legacy blocking innovation. Young students who once idolized him turn away, calling Malik old-fashioned and slow. At a Tokyo seminar, Malik meets Zora Mensah, a 27-year-old genius founder of QRIOS Systems, a leading AI company in space navigation. Zora bluntly says before thousands, "We don't need a poet to guard the skies. We need decisive systems, emotionless, faultless." Malik looks into her bright eyes, and realizes, his opponent is not Zora. It's a generation raised on the dreams he once sowed. Splitting the ranks. NovaFly faces an emergency shareholder meeting. Half want to merge with QRIOS to keep up with the machine learning era. If accepted, all human-controlled tech would be replaced. Malik resists fiercely. He digs deeper and uncovers a frightening truth. QRIOS isn't just a tech company. It's backed by a covert political conglomerate aiming to control space stations as geopolitical tools. Who controls space data, controls Earth's information. Malik stands at a crossroads: fight for science's autonomy or surrender the future to algorithms. He chooses to fight. The traitor. Zora unexpectedly approaches Malik, inviting him to a private talk in Zurich. I admired you once. But you don't understand the world anymore. AI can save millions by optimizing resources. Your emotions are a burden. Malik replies. Have you?